And there's a reason why you ought to wake up as early as 7 a.m. and monitor the Joy Prime channel because on Joy Prime, and every Saturday morning, we bring you Prime Insight. It's your weekend analysis program, Politics Unfiltered, we like to call it. But here, it's the battleground for ideas. That's why we're calling it Prime Insight, giving you a sense of all the topical issues that have happened over the course of the week. My name is Blessed Soga, and of course, for today, we'll be having a host of individuals joining us to share their thoughts on all of these topical matters that have made the headlines throughout the week. So let me give you a sense of what's going to happen for today. We're focusing on two key issues, starting off with this whole discussion about the Ridge attack on a nurse. It's an alleged attack, but the Nurses Union, the GRNMA, have decided to take on government over what they feel is that reluctance on their part to prosecute an individual named Ralph St. Phillips, who they believe or claim is behind the attack on a nurse at the Ridge Hospital. This individual, we understand, was at that health facility seeking for medical attention upon a delayed response, reportedly, from these health officials. We understand that this individual, Raffle, was the one who went on to assault a nurse and using some unprintable words, according to the Nurses Union, on this very nurse, a reason for which they want government to act. The health minister has been responding to that. We'll be taking a listen to him really on this whole matter and what he intends to do about it. But the latest we are getting as of now this morning is that that same nurse, Chochu Odate, we understand, will be heading to court. So that nurse feels very aggrieved about what's happened to her, and she's asking for a number of reliefs. We'll bring you, excerpts of the document her lawyers have written and have applied for claims in court and what she's seeking, and we'll give you a sense of what the way forward will be. This is Prime Insight, and if you're my guest viewing us both online, here in the studio, and wherever you may be joining us from, thank you for spending time with us. But later on as well, we know that President John Dramani Mahama is continuing the second half of his presidential travel. But he's not doing that aboard the presidential aircraft or the Ghana's presidential jet, if you want to call it as such. He's stoking a whole national debate as to whether or not we're going for a new presidential aircraft, knowing that the Falcon that we have serving the president is now grounded in France. It is sick. That's how the Defense Ministry is describing that aircraft, making the president now opting for commercial airlines, which some security experts say is a threat to national security. The Trade Advocacy Group, a group of importers, commerce groups, and traders, are now mounting pressure on the government to opt for a new one. So how did the president even get to Japan in the first place? Because he's been speaking as well, saying that he was never stranded in Dubai as part of these controversial reports that were coming through from the minority side, with the minority indicating that, well, the president did not have it as easy when he was moving all the way to Southeast Asia. In fact, they were claiming at the initial point that the president had at some point rented a private jet. All of these claims have been denied by the presidency. So we'll get an official response from the presidency for you this morning, and all of that you would have on Prime Insight. But I want us to start off by hearing the health minister address the press earlier this week and some of the key issues that he's been raising, even beyond this attack on the nurse, including what he describes as medical negligence on the part of health professionals. Listen.
On Monday morning, I sent a delegation to Ridge Hospital to ascertain the situation. When the delegation came up, upon debriefing, I realized that I had to follow up. And ladies and gentlemen, let me state this, that I have the health workers of this country at heart. And so any attempt by any individual or any group of people to try to incite the health professionals against government, pretending he cares more than us, is unfortunate. And we must stop that. It's an avoidable tension we must avoid. it doesn't help the sector. If indeed you are a practicing health professional in the sector, it doesn't help the sector. And so, when the delegation came back, I had to follow up. I was in a company with the Deputy Director General and other directors of the ministry. We joined the medical superintendent at the Rich Hospital, and I visited the victims. After going around, we had a closed-door meeting to discuss the issues, not insults. One, how to look at beefing on the internal security, staffing issues. So after the closed-door meeting, I came out to address the press to categorically condemn the physical attack. And that is the most important aspect. Medical negligence. Anytime I hear that, I clinch. We spend not less than, even in some cases, one facility, not less than 10 million Ghana cedis on medical negligence. Maybe you don't know. As a country, we don't have the money to buy the equipment, but we are spending so much. As I speak to you now, the cases on my table within this week are 3 that Attorney General has written to me to provide responses. Medical negligence. So it's a major issue that we are dealing with. So there are things we are discussing. I cannot put everything in the public domain at the moment. And at the appropriate time, we may address you on medical negligence. It's a monster rearing its head that we must deal with appropriately. And for me, let me at this point reiterate to the whole country that irrespective of the level of provocation at any health facility in this country, nobody, irrespective of your status in society, absolutely nobody has the right to attack any health professional in this country. That is the gravamen of the issue. No diversionary tactics about handshaking. That is what we must concentrate on, to send a clear signal that our health professionals working at the various health facilities are safe. And so, after the engagement with the management, when I pulled out of the wards, then, in fact, in the engagement with the management, I made it clear to them that I had listened to their side of the story. And therefore, as a minister, I will also listen to the other side of the story. And I then constituted a committee to look into the matter, bring out recommendations for implementation. A lawyer, a nurse, a medical doctor, an auditor, an HR person to go into the matter. Now, when I pulled out, my attention was drawn to a gentleman called Raf, who was at the center of the controversy. And so he was working towards us as a group. The medical director was with me. The deputy director general was also with me. Then I asked, why did you do this, gentleman? When I asked, most of you were there. I mean, the press, you were there. So you can attest to what I'm saying. You were there with me. When I asked him, the gentleman then stretched his hand, shaking me and trying to whisper something into my ears. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, should I push the guy that don't whisper anything into my ears? Should I snub him? Should I shout at him? Even if that guy has been prosecuted and sentenced to life imprisonment, and he stretches his hand to shake me, as a minister, as a public officer, I have the duty to stretch and greet him. So let us not reduce the fact that I shook hands with him does not mean that I should stop any measure or any steps that the ministry or government will take to unravel the situation. And for me, let me at this point reiterate
So thanks for staying with us here on the Joy Prime channel. This is Prime Insight, and you just had the health minister explain to you what is actually at stake, looking at this whole issue about not just the attack on this nurse, but the fact that he believes there's a wide range of issues that ought to be addressed within the health sector, and that should include medical negligence. It's part of the concerns that the health minister is raising. Now, we'll be getting an official response for you from the health ministry because the spokesperson for the ministry, Tony Goodman, will be joining us shortly just to speak about the minister's concern and all of these issues that are unfolding ever since this attack was recorded. But the latest that we have on this is the claims that the nurse herself, that's Kwadwo Poku, we understand, has gone to court. So that's it on the screens for you. That's the very latest we have on this issue, that the nurse who's allegedly attacked is now seeking some claims in court. And part of the claims that she's, asking for is that she wants some damages to be paid to her. The full name actually is Rejoice Kwadwo Poku. And as you can see on the screens, part of the claim she's asking for is, first of all, the issue about damages of 5 million Ghana cedis for the battery she suffered, allegedly. Then she's asking for some other issues that transpired after the 17th day of August when she was attacked. She's equally asking for damages to the tune of some 2 million Ghana cedis for defamatory words, she says, that were used against her by this individual, Ralph St. Phillips. And beyond that as well, she's asking that within a certain radius, St. Phillips would have to stay away from her because it looks like she's traumatized, apparently, from this, issue that transpired. So there's an issue about costs, injunctions, and legal fees, which she says should be catered for by this individual, and any other relief, according to her, which would have to be addressed by the courts, whatever they deem fit, that would have to be awarded to her, all because she claims that she has been attacked. And so all of these claims you see there on your screens with the lawyers signing the details and indicating what their main concern is. So clearly, the health professional herself is not happy about what actually transpired, the reason for which you can see there, she's decided to go to court this morning, which is the latest issue that we have on this matter. Tony Goodman will be providing us with some, explanation to all of this shortly. But if you're joining us here, this is Prime Insight. How about I tell you about, first of all, my guests who are joining us this morning. Kwadwo Poku needs no introduction. He's a stalwart of the New Patriotic Party, and now with he has a new institute as well.
He's been around for a very long time.
For a very long time.
Been around
yeah,
for more than 5 years.
5 years.
Institute for Energy Policies.
I see. Great.
So organization that I run.
And it appears that that's been under the radar for some time because
not at all. He's been very active. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the things when we were doing AKE, when we were doing COSECA, the PDS, as far back as PDS, as well. He's been around. So yes, InStep has been there, and just that you don't follow our work.
But now we're following that, and it's good to have you in our studio.
Thank you.
Ivan Che is a youth activist. He is also quite known on the television. A lot of people love him for his analysis and deep insight into matters. So you can see him joining us in studio. But we have great friends joining us from the National Union of Ghana Students, NUGS. quite a great set of gentlemen I have. The ladies will be joining us also in the course of the discussion, so I hope we can have their questions and also interventions as well as we move on with the discussion. Titus Owusu-Darko is part of the group. We have Bian Derek, who's also with us. Then Suleiman Ibrahim Musa is also here. We have Mashoud Said, who is also joining us this morning, and some of his other colleagues who will be introducing in the course of the discussion. Haruna joining us, and Fia and the others will also be coming in the course of the discussion. So wherever you are, feel free to join us also if you're watching us virtually. All you have to do is to send your comments to our social media platform where we're streaming. We're streaming on Joy Prime. And so for those of you who are in Noaks who see your colleagues here on the screens, you're not excluded. You can feel free and also, of course, get to be a part of the show. I'm sure that by now your colleagues are sharing the links with you, so you can just type your comments there in the course of the discussion. We'll definitely get to hear your thoughts. Because let me give you the first take, because the health minister is not happy about what's happening in our public hospitals, right? But the nurses are also saying, well, it's not because we do not want to work. We are being attacked. Some of our members, we're just hearing of Ms. Chochu, who's now going to court because she feels that she's been attacked by an individual, allegedly, Ralph St. Phillips, who came into the hospital seeking for medical treatment. He feels it's not being a priority. So, well, allegedly, and this is all the report from the nurses, the attack ought to come in. Looking at what's been happening and the banter between the health minister and all of these health officials, how do we resolve this, first off?
It doesn't come as a surprise.
Right.
Anybody that has been following the trend of the nurse fraternity, the nursing fraternity, I have had a cause to say on various platforms that something needs to be done. You realize that in the healthcare, we look at quality of service, proximity of service, and affordability of service. In the past, everybody have looked at some parts of it. President in the past have looked at affordability with the National Health Insurance. Then by expanding the number of hospitals available to us through the Agenda 111 and all the other programs that subsequent governments have done, you look at proximity of service.
Right.
But the main bane where we have a challenge today is what? Quality of service. And that is where nurses come in. Look, when you look at healthcare, nurses are the foundation of healthcare. Now, if you go back and look at Miss Nightingale when he first came up with the noble profession of nurses. And you know what nurses and doctors do, for me, I take out my hat every day because I can't go anywhere near that profession. But they have put themselves out there. But gradually, we have gotten a very noble profession that not people who have a passion for nursing is doing nursing. It's people who feel that I don't have anything doing, there is no jobs, what can I do? Oh, you are giving alawa to go to school, so, why not? I know some politician, let me go and do whatever. You get into nursing, you finish, you get posted, you get alawa along the way. And it is just becoming one of those institutions that people just get into because there's nothing to do.
Right.
Forgetting the inherent nature of the job that they've taken to. You are a first line of human life. So yes, people go to hospitals and you have nurses on their phone.
Really? You've had that experience?
I've seen it. It's not experience. I have seen it.
Right.
You in the hospital and the nurse is on his phone. There was a need for the minister to actually come out and issue a notice. The National Health Service issued a notice that nurses are not supposed to take their phones to the working areas. Why is that? So the quality of service, which is given by the nurse fraternity, has depleted. I'm not saying that all of them are like that, but it takes only one bad nut to make the whole rest of the bag of nuts called spoiled. So there is a problem with the service they offer. The lackadaisical attitude they have in the hospitals, the way there is no level of urgency. Look, I have a cut here.
Right.
It happened around 2 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
I went to Confanoche. I left after 1.5 hours to go to a private hospital around 4 a.m.
No one attended to you?
It was that bad. And to the extent that in the morning, because I now complain, this is like some years back, There were some Cuban doctors who were in and they were doing some program in Kwadwo. They called me back to listen to what happened and they said, look, they're going to make sure that things are run. It is that bad.
So you've been at the receiving end of what we're talking about?
Yes, this cut. It happened at 2 a.m.
But some would say...
So the point is that, let me land. Right. The point is that it doesn't also make the other side right, where people are having to go in and attack people doing their work because of problems they have. Yeah. There should be a channel of redress. So, in the yes, utu okrafono. Now, what to a friend say a jamasofo. What I say? What's the other one? Mouse. When you're advising the mouse, they're also advising the cat, right? So the funny thing is that somebody going in to attack nurses, it's not right. But it is the distress. It is that thing where, look, nobody goes to the hospital for the fun of it. Yeah. You go to hospital because you have a need for care. And when you go, the very people supposed to give you that care at that vulnerable moment of your life is just having this lax attitude towards your life. You'll be infuriated. Yeah. So that is the problem. We need to look at the kind of service we are getting from frontline nurses. It's a problem.
But an attack should not be justified.
Not at all. It's not. That's what I'm saying, that it shouldn't be. And again, we can go on to look at security at the hospitals, right? It's easy for anybody to just walk into a hospital. It shouldn't be. I mean, there should be a certain level of security for the staff to feel safe in that environment. But when we now go that step further to look at all these things, it doesn't even mean that, and somebody who is very, my mother or my father, in that critical point of care, right, would send me across that line. Because if I see that I'm in that short time of losing my loved one, right? And somebody doesn't care. And if you see how, because they see death every day, you see how doctors and nurses announce death and deal with death and all that. It's their nature of their work. It's like you go to a mechanic and your car has a problem that you are even having problem to drive the car 1 mile. The mechanic come and said, oh, boss, really, I have to drive it to the shop. I'm like, how are you going to drive the car?
Drive it?
So don't worry, I'll drive it. And in fact, he will drive the car. So because they see these things every day, they have an approach different to ours. But they should understand us. Yeah. So the infuriation that comes with the attack, for me, is unwarranted, but it only brought about by the attitude and the quality of service that we are getting in the hospitals.
Just to announce that Tony Goodman, who's the spokesperson of the Ministry of Health, PRO, he's joined us. Tony, good morning to you. Good morning. I want you to have the third say on this, but let me hear from Ivan. Ivan, because that's the footage we have on the screen, pointing out what's been happening and these reports that we've heard of. Now the nurse herself has decided to go to court.
Yeah, I think it's quite an unfortunate development to start with. And for me, this issue is like a coin. It has two faces. First of all, if you look at what happened at the hospital, it's highly condemnable because there is no justification for anybody walking into a hospital, whether physical or verbal, to attack or hold such a kind of attacks on a nurse. So it's condemnable. And the other side of it has to do with the attitude of health workers and, quote unquote, the kind of public perception people have about health workers in Ghana. For me, if you zoom down to what happened at Rage Hospital, I think there was a bit of lack of communication that ensued and gave rise to some of these things. Because at the heart of nursing training and medical training, there is something that we call establishing a rapport with your patient. Communication is very key. So listening to Ralph's account, when he went to the hospital, a particular nurse came to her and then applied bandage. When you are involved in RTA, one of the best treatment that you can very often get is arresting the hemorrhage. So that is exactly what was done for him. It means that within the emergency setting, something was done. But maybe the nurse failed to reassure him by communicating that, gentlemen, this is something that needed to be done and it has been done for you at this time. So wait, subsequent treatment will be offered. For instance, maybe you might want to take X-ray depending on the extent of it. Maybe the person has lost blood. You might want to take a sample to go and do full blood count. Maybe you may be waiting for a doctor to come and take a second look at the person. So if this break in communication happens and the person sits there, he might be thinking that nothing has been done. And again, there is this perception, oh, I went to the hospital, the nurses were not looking at me and those kind of stuff. You see, at the emergency settings, there is something that we call triage, depending on the severity of the condition that you came with. So somebody, you might come before somebody, or somebody might come before you, but
depending on your case.
Exactly. So when they triage you, we have this yellow, green, red, depending on the severity, the person will attend to you based on. So they may be on you, an emergency situation may pop up. That is very, maybe, very, very...
Are we not substituting that for poor service delivery?
No.
Because some people go to the OPD or wherever it could be, emergency ward, you get there and no one is even talking to you.
So that is the communication bit.
Yeah.
That is the communication gap. That has to be, improved on. For that one, that is understandable. But I'm saying that there is this general public perception out there that nurses don't care when you go to the hospital. Yes. So the care is dependent on the severity of the condition the patient come with, you understand? So the person might want to prioritize who needs that immediate care. And some of these healthcare infrastructure deficits that we have, you go to the various hospital, ask yourself, if you look at the ER section, how many nurses do we even have at a time taking care of patients? So I think there is the other side of it and then the other aspect of it. But it's quite unfortunate that people have taken this whole thing. There is still some kind of emotional connotation in this whole aspect.
You feel we shouldn't be emotional when people have had similar experience in the hospitals? I mean, many of them sharing their accounts. You just said, could you also tell me that?
But the
he was frustrated to the point that he had to move out of the hospital.
the cases, I'm not discounting the experience that he went through. What I'm saying is that, you see, issues like this should bring into the argument, what can we do to improve healthcare in general, you understand? Rather than, because I listened to some commentary on TV where some people were hauling some kind of unprovoked insult and attack on healthcare personnel, those kind of stuff. You see, we need to admit the fact that there are challenges in our healthcare delivery system and that there is the need for us as a country to improve upon service delivery, you understand? As we speak, most of the nurses working at our hospital, some of them have one leg here, one leg in the UK because of the way our manner, the service conditions.
And because they'll get more money when they get to the UK.
So the mind itself is not here. So I think this should give us some kind of a ground just to make sure we improve on healthcare delivery in this country. And for the nurse heading to court, I think that is her prerogative. If you suffer one form of attack, or you have the right to seek legal redress in any way that you think.
Because you wanted to chip in something
let's quickly. You see, reality drives perception.
Right.
Let's not make it look like it's a perception. Let's just oppose public hospitals and private hospitals.
Could you like, this is payback time for the nurses?
No. But look, what we are talking about is only in public hospitals, not in private hospitals. These things don't happen in private hospitals. Go to Nyaho and see the services that you get in Nyaho. Go to any private hospital around the world and see the service you get. So we are not even talking about the full spectrum of healthcare in Ghana, where it's bad for all nurses. No, it's only in the public hospitals. Why is that? So let's not make it look like all nurses are bad and all nurses in healthcare delivery in public hospitals are bad. But majority of the problem is in the public hospital. Thank you.
Tony, you want to come in now? Because everyone is looking up to the health ministry to act. The health minister himself has been under a severe, well, I don't know if that's severe, but he feels it's a severe attack from the unions. Because the nurses feel that your ministry, you're not really acting, you're not protecting anyone. You should have gone after this individual who allegedly carried out the attacks.
Let me first sympathize with the lady who was allegedly attacked, and then say that some of the perception about this whole issue is born out of political sentiment at times. When this thing happened on Sunday, on Monday, the minister sent a delegation to the Ridge Hospital. The team came back and said, the staff there are down-spirited. The minister said, no, let me go there and just encourage them. He moved into the hospital, went to the gentleman who was brought in before this whole thing happened. He was given a briefing on his situation, met with the nurse in question, spoke to the nurse, and encouraged him and said, whatever you have lost, I'm going to provide them to you. Right. And told the medical director there that, please, take good care of this lady. I'm going to be receiving briefing on her situation. From there, he moved into a meeting with management and told them clearly that he's not going to allow this to happen. He's here just to send a signal to anybody who think that you can go to a hospital and then, happy or not, and decide to attack any professional worker. And ask whether they have actually reported this matter to the police. They said no, the police came here. During the altercation, the police were there. So the police were, they said no, go and make official complaint. This is from the minister to them. That was done. So after everything, on our way to his car, and then we met a gentleman, I'm told he's called Ralph, who was shaking everybody. Then, because of social media, I quickly noticed.
I saw that video.
You saw it.
I mean, to be honest with you, I thought the minister was patting him on the back.
No, he doesn't know the guy.
Because that's the impression you get.
He doesn't know this guy.
Was shaking him and
so
smiling.
I said, Honorable, that is the guy. So if you watch the video, then he went again and said, why did you do that? And the guy said, oh, Honorable, I will come to your office.
That's what he said?
Yes. So when we left Ridge Hospital and got to the office, the minister said, issue a statement condemning this action. I'm saying that when we left, after the handshake,
yes,
the minister caused a statement to be issued condemning the action and also forming a committee to investigate the matter. I can say a privileged information. Right. I heard the minister talking to the hierarchy, the topmost hierarchy of Ghana Police. The minister asked his chief director to write to the regional command of Ghana Police to provide additional security to the hospital. Let me emphasize that all of these actions the minister took happened after the handshake. So the handshake did not stop the minister from taking any action. The minister on the same day formed this committee and directed them to start work immediately. As of yesterday, this committee completed their work and will be submitting a report to the minister on Monday. So, in the media, I am saying this because you said there is some misunderstanding between the nurses and then the misunderstanding is that the minister shook hands with the gentleman. And I'm saying
the
that did not prevent
the leadership of the union to explain to them that, look, I didn't know this gentleman before, because they are incensed about that gesture by the minister.
My brother, the tripartite is that the staff is here, the minister is the employer, and then the union. So these two are to look for the interest of this person.
Whose interest are you on the lookout for now as the health ministry?
The public and the professional workers who we have engaged to provide services to them.
Is that possible? Some say you have to take a stance on this because, look, the public are not happy generally because of, as Kwadwo was pointing out, poor service delivery, especially in the public health sector. So there's that concern there. And they are in the majority as compared to the nurses who say, look, negligence is part of the service. All of these things you complain about is also because we don't have a fair system.
My brother.
Yeah. So on whose side are you?
We are on the side of the public and the side of the professional health worker. If you don't take good care of the professional worker, how would that professional worker provide care to the people? We've all agreed, and we are aware of the system we have inherited. We are aware of what is happening in Ghana. That is why the minister, upon taking office, did not say that let me be an armchair minister.
Right.
He goes to hospitals unannounced to see for himself what was happening. The minister, upon visiting some of the places, have provided equipment to them. Next week, he's adding additional equipment to some hospitals. He's actually procured a lot of equipment. I'm sure by next week they should be arriving for some of the hospitals. Let me tell you what happened. At Ridge Hospital, this gentleman, when he was brought in, and then they finished the triaging, the doctor said, oh, no, we need to do some surgery on this guy. But we need another diagnostics. And that can be done outside the hospital. So they quickly invited the National Ambulance Service to go do that because they have to move the guy. So the guys around thought that, oh no, they are referring the guy to a different place. That was the whole issue did not start with Ralph. Ralph, when he saw the guy, he said, no, Miss Graham, they were referred from a facility. Let me put that on record.
So you mean to say Ralph was not the one who masterminded the attack?
That is not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying that Ralph and his other guys brought in a gentleman. This gentleman was being taken care of. And then at a continuum of care, Ralph thought that they were referring the guy outside Range Hospital. And he said, I also have this bruise on my hand. Please take care of me. Yeah. Then at that process, they said, no, let's deal with this, your guy. We want to
because your report is ready. That's why I'm asking the question before I bring in the other panelists.
You won't get anything from the report. So we can...
No, but in the end, is it conclusive that Ralph was the one who masterminded the attack? Or perhaps was it part of the attack?
I cannot say for now.
The report is ready.
The investigation are currently ongoing criminally and administratively. We have also...
But from what you know, Ralph was not the one who attacked.
What I know is that Ralph has caused his lawyer to submit a written report and has also provided evidence to support his report.
Now the nurse has gone to court. Is that not an indication that government is not willing to prosecute this matter?
No, the minister directed them to go to the police hospital, the police at Bakak. Yeah. He's also asked the IGP to provide additional...
Yes, but now the nurse herself
is asked the regional command to look into the matter. That is the criminal aspect of it. He has the right, she has the right to go to hospital anyway. But I believe that what the minister has done, at least suffice for a person who is ready to actually lead the health sector. You cannot agree with me that he didn't go to sleep. The Ghana Health Service should have, he could have directed the Ghana Health Service, please deal with this matter. I decided to deal with the matter.
Is the minister, and one more, is the minister having issues with GRNMA? Over the course of the week, we've seen, lots of your communicators condemn the leadership of the group because you guys claim, and I'm not sure if that's the position of the ministry, that they are not, working in tandem with you. They seem to have some political leanings, a reason for which the minister is acting the way he is.
No, we believe that they are just not being fair to the minister. They've shown a lot of disrespect to the minister in the past and currently, and we believe that is not supposed to be the posture of a group that is supposed to work with the minister to improve upon service, to also look at the welfare of their members. If you call a minister a farmer, the minister is already a farmer, and I believe farmers are also an important group of persons in this country. It is not right. It means to denigrate your own minister, that is not right. We have come out to say that it is wrong and it's condemnable, and that is it. We leave it at that.
Have they apologized? Have they called the minister just to apologize, maybe?
Let me tell you, the Minister of Health, for him, if he feels strongly about something, he will come out to say it. Yeah. And that is it. He's come out, he's made his point clear, whether they feel that they have wronged him and want to apologize. Why not?
But you feel they should apologize?
I believe they should do that. Because it's in our own interest. I mean, the worker and the sector to have that collaboration, to have that good relation with your minister. No, maybe it may happen, one out of misunderstanding. Yeah. So just come around the table and apologize and let's move on.
Kojo, do you feel that the minister deserves an apology? One of the leading members of the GRNMA says, well, the minister needs help. He's not a technocrat. He doesn't understand what goes on in the health sector.
And since when has ministers of any sector has to be a technocrat of that sector? You see, I don't even see where the politics in this come in. I honestly don't get it. When my brother said part in politics, I don't even get where the politics come in. The lines are clearly defined. It's when people don't want to do the right thing, then they try to bring in the quote-unquote politics. Because they know that the minute it gets NPP, NDC, then the conversation is lost.
But you feel we need to move away from that?
100%. Why? Because the minute it becomes NPP, NDC, the conversation will be lost. Because the minute I take the NPP entrenched position and my brother will take the NDC entrenched, then the conversation is lost. But let's look at the problem that we are dealing with. We have never had a situation where, look, let's go back in history. Ministers have never been, and it's always said that when you put somebody who is a doctor as a minister of health, he doesn't perform well. Best performing ministers in the health sector has been those who are not doctors. And you see, Health administration is only in Ghana where we think that health administration should be performed by doctors. No. The administration of the health sector is not supposed to be by the doctor. What did he go to school to learn? He's a medical doctor. How does that come into administration? You understand? So you need somebody who has a 360 view of the sector.
At least you understand operations.
It understands everything, but doesn't have to understand. You see, that's why technocrats and advisors come in. And that's where we have in the Ghana Health Service, that's where you need your technocrats. But at the policy end of it, you don't need him. So if you are saying that Honorable Akando is a farmer, so he can't lead, I mean, what's that? That one, let's not entertain it. Whoever, if it was said, 100% they should apologize. But the most important thing I want to say is this. Look, whether somebody instigated or somebody did not instigate, there are clear lines of action. Prosecute, criminal investigation. My question is even, is there CCTV at the Ridge Hospital?
Yeah, but we've been showing some of the footage.
Right, so if there's CCTV there, clearly the CCTV will show you exactly what happened at the nursing station, at the OPD area, at the theater area, at the emergency area. It will clearly show you, right? Then you move on to the next step of criminal investigation has been directed by the minister. But going forward, that's the most important thing. What next? The nurses' fraternity should admit that there is a problem. And the general public have that problem. So if the general public has a problem with the way nurses, and not all nurses, let's make it very clear, some nurses, the attitude of some nurses. Look, if people take a job and complain about condition of service, I have a problem with it. You know why? Because this is a poor country. We've never been a rich country. Our healthcare service have never had all the equipment. Our healthcare service have never had all. People have actually performed under worse conditions and they were happy to be nurses. Our aunties, grandmothers and fathers performed under worse services. Today, most of the hospitals available in Ghana are better standard than what they were.
Are you being fair to the nurses?
I'm not, no, I'm just saying, let's be real. You know the profession you're getting yourself into. It's like a carpenter complaining about sandpaper.
They'll be dusty.
Definitely.
Let's get into the audience. There's a reaction from some of our students who are agitated, student leaders who are agitated about this. Titus, you have a point to share?
Yes, please. All right. First of all, let me commend speakers for giving such an outstanding contributions to this matter. My name is Titus Osudako. I'm the General Secretary for the Ghana Union of Professional Students. Right. And as a professional student, I believe that professionalism is very, very important in every field, every job, in every sector, so far as its work or mandate is concerned. Right. And I love the fact that one of our guests mentioned we shouldn't politicize this particular issue. Immediately we try to politicize this issue, the hard core or the hard angle of it would fade away. Nurses, midwives, and other institutions under the health sector, I believe as a student leader, we should come together, join forces, rally behind the ministry and the sector so that issues like this would be taken off. If we try to create a perception that he's not a health professional, and so leading is not okay. These are some of the things we as student leaders heard during his appointment. Yeah. And I believe he's not the first to have been a Minister of Health. Someone has been.
In fact, the immediate past one was not also
a Minister of Health.
Was not a health professional.
We should rally behind the minister and then the ministry at large. Join forces together and ensure that we head towards one goal in creating a betterment.
Is it the case that you feel that the nurses are not performing up to standard?
I love the fact that they also mentioned that. You know, that's a reality. Let me adopt the statements.
From Kojo.
Exactly. That's the reality. I wouldn't say it's a perception, it's the reality. When you go to any government hospital, majority of the nurses are not living up to the billing. And sometimes I ask myself, is the cause from the root of the training they had at the nursing training schools, or it's because of some of the things they are not getting from the ministry or from the government?
What do you think? You feel it's more about training?
The training has a role to play. In as much as the training has a role to play, the government, leading by the Minister of Health, should do certain things that would motivate them to wholeheartedly serve and live up to the bill.
I see. Thank you so much, Titus. I'll put that to Tony shortly. Let's take more of the comments. There's a gentleman behind. Okay, before I come to that,
all right.
You just take that for me, Derek, and then I go.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Once again, my name is Biam Derek, an aspirant for National Union of Ghana Students, Secretary for Union Development. I mean, this is one of the very critical issues in our country that we shouldn't, one way or the other, take it on a lighter note. You know, we've all attended hospitals before, and it's a process, one way or the other. As rightly stated by one of our guests, no matter how serious your condition is, you must go through a certain process in health care delivery. So I think with this particular issue, I will speak about the communication between the health practitioners
and then the minister
and the patient.
Yeah.
I mean,
in the hospital setting, yes, right.
So whether or not communication was rightly delivered or not, I am not. We shouldn't, of the view, defend the fact that the whatever happened at that particular instance is bad, and we should not on any day entertain that.
But the message, she was abused verbally also, you know.
Yes, that is particularly the point I'm coming from. That as much as that is concerned, as a student leader, I believe that there is a concept that we should drive at. There is a procedure that everyone should follow. As whoever you are. I mean, whoever you. So that is why some government appointees sometimes when they attend some hospitals, you see that they proceed them to different hospitals. Yes, that means it's a process. So whether or not someone fall under that procedure or you fall under that category or not, you should follow that procedure as much as healthcare delivery is concerned. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go behind. There's a gentleman there. Kindly introduce yourself and then share your thoughts with us briefly.
All right. I'm in the person of Achulu Abdul Baki. And then,
we can hear you, yes.
Yes. First of all, I appreciate the fact that we are all on the same page, talking about the fact that our health professionals should try to be more professional in their dealings. And also, let's also condemn the comments from the union to the minister. But I think from the demeanor of Mr. Tony, you can see that he's finding it so difficult to defend the relationship between...
Are you sure about that?
Yes, it's finding it difficult to defend the relationship between the minister and Ralph in particular, because this is a darling boy to the current government. I don't think if it's any citizen at all who perpetrated this crime would have been working freely. We urge that the gentleman should be apprehended and he should face the full rigors of the law. Let me end my statement by quoting the German theologian, Pastor Martin Niemöller. He said, first they came for the communists, and I did not speak out. They came for the socialists, and I did not speak out. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out. When they came for me, there was no one left to speak out. I thank you for attention.
They'll come for the minister, probably, as you want to say. Anyway, if you have some more comments, you can pass the microphone. I'm sure some of your colleagues will also share their thoughts. But let me put that to Tony, then I come to Ivan and Kwadwo. First point to address, Nook says, is it more about the training or you're not providing for the nurses as you should?
Yeah, thank you very much. I believe it's attitudinal. It is, because we've given enough training. This morning, I woke up, opened my WhatsApp, and then there was this senior nurse sending a message said, it believes that maybe at that point, they were overwhelmed by the number of patients that were rushed in. So going forward, we should actually get a dedicated client service person who have that interface with the general public and then explain issues to them. I believe that is actually the case. Our nurses internationally have been acclaimed as the best. If you go to UK, Ghana's nurses are actually performing wonders there. If you go to US, it is not about the training. We have about 13 countries coming to Ghana to actually solicit for our nurses. So I believe it's attitudinal.
I understand the plan is to ship some of our nurses out of the country. Kwadwo says we don't even have enough. So why are you taking the little that we have to the UK and the other parts of...
Yes, for how many years now we have a lot of nurses who were not recruited. About 70, currently we have 70,000 health workers who are home. And if it is not possible to even recruit all of them at a go. So if you can move them around, they make money, you don't waste their profession here, and also cause them to engage in some deviant behaviors. You would prefer to do that. That let me quickly go to the point that we are struggling. We are
a darling boy of
struggling
the NPC,
to defend. I have said earlier that the minister did not know this gentleman. I prompted him that is the gentleman. As to being a darling boy, every Ghanaian is a darling boy to this government. Okay. Every Ghanaian.
Are you sure about
that? I doubt.
You wouldn't agree with that.
Because we have entrusted this country into the hands of this government to protect everybody and protect.
So Kojo is a darling boy.
No, that one. Kojo is not a darling boy.
No, me, I'm a darling boy, but I don't think that the people out there feel...
The current pleasures we are enjoying in this country, current...
But I'm not enjoying some. Ivan is not. Ivan, are you enjoying something like that?
We are enjoying it. It's not to just rough it.
Right.
So I believe we should look at this issue dispassionately. We should not, as I said, politicize it. The criminal aspect must take it forward.
But you are certain that based on what the minister, the orders is giving, something will be done?
No, that is why I keep stressing the point that after the handshake, he's taking a number of actions. The gentleman who was arrested, who came with Ralph and was arrested, it was after the handshake.
I see.
So the handshake has not prevented anything. The criminal aspect, we've allowed the police.
But you're confident he'll be dealt with, or any other person involved?
That I cannot say. But I don't work with the police. I work with the ministry. We will look at the aspect that looks at improvement in the system.
So based on the report, finally, again, just another attempt on the report that is now ready. When will it be presented to the minister, and what's the minister expected to do with this report that is being presented?
Yes, by Monday, the report will be submitted to the minister, and he will look at where we need to strengthen the system, where we need to improve upon the current services we have. Don't forget that one of the terms of reference is to look at the delay, what actually caused the delay. If we need to improve upon the areas of delay. Because you remember the minister went to Achimota and Ofanko recently.
Yes.
And some of the workers mentioned that we were here, minister, 4 hours, 3 hours. It is one of the things we are currently looking at. Should we introduce the appointment system where if yours is not critical, we give you afternoon, give some of the evening, and at that point, and then focus on those.
In fact, looking at this facility, this is the regional hospital. In some other jurisdictions, you wouldn't walk into such a facility without an appointment.
Yes, so somebody going with just bruises on their hand is also, so it is education. We need to educate our people, get them to understand the way health service delivery or the health system is in Ghana, and then add more. You know, this is just the phase 1 of regional hospital, and look at, just go there from Thursday or Friday. It's I call it market day. You know, even a private hospital, what they do is that they keep the people getting to the end of the week. They refer to regional hospital. And the directive from the minister to regional hospital is that don't turn people away because you don't have beds. If you have to stabilize the person on the floor, please do it. If it's just on the bench, you have to stabilize the person, please do it. Let's say that if you provide regional hospital with 2 million beds, you will still have issues. If we do not change our attitude, our lifestyle, our behavior, if we do not change, we'll be rushing to regional hospital. Let's make checkup a constant thing to be doing. Anytime you check. Otherwise, you'll be there last minute and then you are rushed to the hospital. No.
Wrap up for me on this surprise visits that we're seeing by the health minister. You see him spring up today in this hospital, tomorrow he's elsewhere.
He's not going to stop.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's not going to stop. We have monitoring unit, we have evaluation unit, even at the ministry, Ghana Health, at the district. So, yes, but we are still complaining. The minister believes that they should do their work. I will also go and check. Yes, you are doing your work. I am also checking to improve my decision anytime I have policy directive to make. Then I can say that, I have gone there myself. I've spoken with workers, I've spoken with patients, and this is how not the window dressing. When the minister is coming, then quickly we dress the plate. No, unannounced. So just prepare. The minister could
another one.
Oh, it's coming, yes. It could be in your facility at any time.
Ivan, do you believe the sentiment that, you know, Ralph St. Philip is now becoming a darling boy for the NDC?
I'm not sure. Ralph has been an activist, and I think over the years, some of the things that he's done, people are quite privy to some of the things that he has been doing. So for me, I think he was doing one of his many things. Yeah. It was unfortunate it got into the excesses, and I think we've all condemned these things, you know, on certain terms. My younger brother made reference to nursing training. I think nursing training in Ghana is one of the best in the world. That is why Ghanaian nurses fit into any particular space. For instance, if you're a Ghanaian nurse and you're traveling to UK, you don't write any exams in the field of nursing. What you do is just write the IELTS. In America, you only write the NCLEX. Once you pass, you fit in. So they are best trained. But the issue has to do with...
that good out there, how come, you know, when you go into a Ghanaian public hospital, the feeling is not
the issue has to do with attitude. And some of these things, if you zoom into other entities like the bank, you might one way or the other gone to a bank and somebody might have treated you the same way. You go, somebody maybe on his phone sometimes. So I think, you see, very often when issues pop up like this, we very often fixate on the emotional aspect of it without finding a common ground and building a solution. For me, I have always argued that I know some foreign companies in Ghana, once you enter into their premises as a worker, you leave your phone somewhere. You only take it on break or maybe after work.
You feel we should do that for us?
I think we should, because I have...
take away their phones.
Exactly. I think and pay allowance for that, because I think that very often, yes. Because
allowance for
but we've gone to the extent people are asking for. We've gotten to a extent of people asking for height allowance and so. Definitely, I'm saying what will probably come up.
What you're saying is,
they should leave it in their locker.
We pay nurses for keeping their phones away.
I'm just making a point that people were making demands for height allowance. So definitely, if you ask them to put down their phone somewhere, they will be. That is not what I'm stating. So that is the point. But so far, I think I like the way the minister has conducted himself thus far. He has shown some competence. And because in the midst of all these attacks, he has been able to compose himself, looking at the demeanor amidst of those unprovoked and unwarranted attacks from the General Secretary of the GRNA. And I think it was quite unfortunate. Wherever he is, he should gather the courage and apologize to the minister, because such attack is totally uncalled for. Because as a leader of an organization like professional nurses, you should not be seen in public space going that particular kind of line. I think it's quite unfortunate. So these are stakeholders. And I think if we can improve on healthcare, it will come as a result of this multi-stakeholder engagement involving nurses, minister, and even the public. So it should not be seen as, oh, you are there as a minister, do it and let's see. If we do that, we don't get anywhere, you understand? As we speak, if we collaborate in this particular manner, we come to the realization that there are a lot of things that we need to do to improve healthcare in this country. And once we do that, it will benefit everybody. But if people begin to see the other guy as you are the one responsible, just do it and let's see. And the argument of the nurse being likened to a farmer was quite unnecessary, because, you see, there are prominent farmers in this country. The president himself is a farmer. I'm told Otunfo himself is a farmer. So you see, such denigration and stuff, you don't do some of the... There are prominent... Oh, no, most of them, some of them are own farms. Yeah, they own farms,
but doesn't make them farmers.
But, so that is it. No, but once you own farm, that is it, you understand? So I think that is the kind of assertion we shouldn't be throwing out there for people.
Yeah, you think we shouldn't belittle farming?
No. And yesterday, the association issued a statement asking him to apologize and retract everything that he said. You understand? I think it was quite denigrating, especially coming from a professional who should know better. It was quite unfortunate. I'm still expecting that he will do the needful and see the minister as a partner, and that they can collaborate to improve health.
Because of time, I see that there's so much interest. Gentlemen, just hold on for me.
Over 2 decades now, apart from Okubo, who served, I think, 6 months. We've not had a medical doctor serve as a minister.
Okay, gentlemen, you know what?
Briefly. That's for 2 decades.
Here's what we'll do. This issue is of so much importance. The Deputy Presidential Spokesperson, Shamima Muslim, is also joining us via Zoom. So here's what I want us to do. We'll take a break. We'll take a break here on Prime Insight. When we get back, Nooks is also here. A number of our student leaders have concerns. We'll come to Kwadwo, take his thought as well. And probably we should be closing the chapter on that. I'll give everyone the opportunity. But you're watching Prime Insight. If you're online as well on Facebook, YouTube, just type your comments. We'll be coming to that as well, finding out what some of you online also think about this. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And thanks so much for staying with us here on the Joy Prime channel. This is Joy Prime Insight. And don't forget that we're having a good time talking about some of the ills in our public hospitals and the concerns that many of you have been sharing with us. Our next conversation is coming up, which is on presidential travels and whether or not we should purchase a new presidential jet. Nana Poku of TAG, the Trade Advocacy Group, he'll be joining us shortly. I believe that he also has a take on the nurses issue, including the Deputy Presidential Spokesperson, Shamima Muslim, who's also joining us via Zoom. Shamima, you had wanted to do a brief take before we move into the presidential travels. Let's hear your take on this whole banter between GRNMA, the minister, and all of these concerns coming up. Then we close the chapter on this and zoom right into the presidential travel. Shamima, I hope you can hear me. Welcome to the program. And kindly unmute so that we can hear the points that you want to share with us briefly on this.
Can you hear me now, Blessing?
We can hear you now.
Great. So I was saying good morning to you, to your guest, and then to your studio guest. I didn't know that was the format. It's a very interesting format to bring a cross-section of the public to also contribute to the issues. I've been following the conversations. I think that almost all the important grounds have been covered in this particular matter, and so we really need to all remain calm and ensure that the investigation is completed and those found to be at fault ought to also face the consequences of their conduct. Again, as it is usually said, when two elephants fight, it is the ground that suffers. I think it's important for all of us to recognize that government and the health sector and all the actors within the health sector, in particular, because the health of the nation is actually the value of the wealth of that nation. And because all of us, at some point in our life, will be health seekers, we will interface the health system. We will go to hospital to receive health care. Nobody can advocate for our health institutions to become unsafe spaces for both those seeking healthcare and also those who are providing vital healthcare for the seekers of healthcare in those spaces. So as a government, we cannot condone any action that seems to bring chaos and violence to the workspaces, no matter where it happens. And the president is not one to encourage or support violence at our workplaces, not those that are issued by individuals coming into those spaces or violence that are meted out to patients, patients in the care of health workers. Okay. Because we all do know.
Yeah, because you're closer to the president, when we talk about the health space, the plan is to do the Mahama Cares program. How are you, factoring in issues such as infrastructure, welfare of nurses into all of this? Because yes, the program might be limited in scope, but I hope that you have plans to include that whilst the president rolls out this policy.
It goes without saying, because welfare is number one. Without welfare, how are you going to get the best, from anybody who works within the health space? And I'm happy you mentioned it because I needed to remind us that if there is anyone who has shown commitment to the health sector, even though the health sector remains one of the most challenged, it is His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama. His boss before him, the late President Evans Atta Mills. Because I keep saying, And many nurses will attest to this fact that in terms of the infrastructure that we have seen deployed within record time for the health sector, it was under the NDC regime, Mills Mahama regime. A lot of them today complain of having sat home several years after, they have completed their training. Why? Number one, there is no infrastructure to admit them into, and number two, there's really no enough resources to admit them into. If you look at the number of health sectors, including the same rich hospital, the Greater Accra Hospital that is right now in the eye of the storm, that infrastructure was completed under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. If you look at the first quaternary hospital in West Africa, situated at Legon, the Legon UGMC, was also done under the NDC Mills Mahama, completed in the Mahama regime. Many of the regional hospitals that we have district hospitals, health structures received a major boom. So you cannot say that President Mahama is not committed to the welfare, because welfare includes ensuring that there is space to absorb our healthcare workers. Number two, with regards to even the training of our healthcare workers, as we speak today, there is no backlog of payments of allowances to nursing trainees. Though these are uncontestable facts. So when a matter comes up and the first posturing, the immediate posturing of none other than the spokesperson of a major stakeholder in healthcare delivery in Ghana, what do you call him, David Tinkoran, is to take an adversarial posturing against your number one key partner, the health minister representing the president of Ghana. I think we all have to take a bit of a breather and, reflect on our actions. Because when we, as I'm saying, if there's tension between the health ministry and the health sector workers, nobody's going to win in that fight.
Shamima, we're just
not the government and not even the nurses and midwives that, are part of this. Again, let me reiterate our condemnation of violence at the workspaces. Also, we are calling for accountability. And that is why the minister did announce. And it's so unfair, the kind of attacks that came to a minister that seems to want to be at the heart of our health system to find out the problems with the intent of finding solutions. Otherwise, he will sit in his offices.
I see.
And then his reports will come to him. But we have seen him visit hospitals, visit regional hospitals, all with the intent of bringing a certain, sanitizing a situation that involves complaints between health seekers as well as, medical officers.
Yeah. Shamima, thank you. In just a minute, deal with this so we can move to the next chapter. The point about... I'll come to you. I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Kwadwo. Kwadwo, I'll come to you, please. Yes, I'll give you that time. Shamima, the point about the nursing training allowances is quite a controversial one. We're having a conversation in the newsroom the other day. If you look at the allocations we're making to these trainee nurses, the feeling is that why don't you reallocate that into other priority areas? Maybe welfare for those who are already in their service, which is trained, or providing more infrastructure. You made the political promise to pay, by the way.
That promise was not made in a vacuum. That promise was made because a lot of the people seeking health training, either as nurses or midwives, HND nurses, if you look at the profile of them, many of them come from households that are challenged in terms of the ability to take care of their training. And so that promise was not made in a vacuum. It was in response to the demands and expectation that the inability to care for oneself whilst in training should not become a barrier for accessing training in vital sector. Governance is a very complex conundrum, and it doesn't lend itself to very easy answers. It is never an either-or situation. It is always at every time finding the right balance between prudence and also meeting the expectations of the people that you govern. And so that kind of conversation will still continue.
Right.
If there's a negotiations and, discussions between, because again, one will say that as for you, say you have finished and you have gotten a place to work. So now you don't care about what we are going through as trainees who are finding difficulty in training.
I see.
It is the same thing. In some places, it should be free. Educating your citizens should be free. In some places, educating medical doctors is free because they are they will provide vital care to the citizen. So once again, let us ensure that we use the medium of civil dialogue to resolve every and any conflict that faces us. And that's the advice to all of us. And to know that the health minister is on the side of the health sector. He has to straddle those two sides, representing government. No government wants to lead in a situation where there is trouble every day in that spot. That cannot be the focus on the intention of the government.
Thank you.
We want to work to solve the problems. Cooperate with us and let us find a middle ground to solving our problems.
All right, Shamima. Could you briefly, just so you can...
So well until Shamima came in and started spewing politics. How can she say that the NDC in the last 7 months have provided more healthcare in the country, healthcare facilities in the country than Nanado in 8 years?
What contrary facts?
No, hold on. Let me give you... Hold on. Shamima, you had your time, please. Shamima, you had your time, please. You had your time, please. In Accra alone, I'll just stick to Accra. 5 polyclinics in Accra. Ashiaman, Adenta, Botiano, Oduman, and Sege. 5 polyclinics in Accra alone from 2017 to 2019. How can you...
The promise was Agenda 111.
Hold on.
You haven't completed a single facility before you left office.
It's not true.
I mean, we checked the database.
It's not true.
I was part of that research process.
It's not true.
We checked the database.
My brother, Agenda 111, they were commissioned. How can you say they were not?
Hold on.
They were commissioned.
Government released...
My brother, no. Please.
Government released its own data. I just want to, because you're speaking to the facts.
When Shamima was speaking, you allowed him to speak.
Yes, but obviously because you're raising a matter that I've also researched.
But people, hold on. Yeah. Are you telling me that the cameramen that went to the commission of Agenda 111, they were what? AI videos?
So let me explain this to you. Government launched its own tracker.
Forget that one.
I'm using government's own data. For Agenda 111. If you go to...
are you saying that? Hold on. We've been to the place. Calm down. No. You see, none has been completed. None has been completed.
I want to
hold on. One Katamanso.
No.
It's not part of
That's a fact.
Hold on. So are you saying...
Not even...
Please, my brother, let's continue. Can you guys give me a minute? Let me speak. No. Listen, he's using... You are using 2 different words.
Right, okay.
Operational of completed. What
not
is it?
Completed.
What is completion?
When we got there, there was this equipment on the table, and they were still plastering the...
Hold on. Which one did you get?
Bokro.
Which one?
Bokro. Just one. I said, but they said they completed 2. Which 2? And then we've got 2.
That's what I'm talking about. My brother, let's not turn... No.
But I'm giving you
database.
I'm telling you.
Let's not turn... Please.
I am telling you this.
Why are we shifting the conversation?
Right, okay.
Shamima said that His Excellency, he tried to now bring in Professor Atta Mills, skip the Nanado's 8 years, and said that John Dramani Mahama, saying that in the 4 years of Mahama, of first Bahama 1 and Atta Mills 1, and the now 7 months, they've done more health facilities in the country than Nanado's 8 years, which is not true. My brother, listen. Let me finish. My brother, capping with what? Let me finish. The Iroject project. The Iroject, my brother, you say you are a civil servant too. Let me not tell you. You said you are a civil servant.
Okay, could you land on the point?
He said you was a civil servant.
But I'm telling you the facts. These are facts.
You sat here and said you are a civil servant.
But these are facts.
So if you want to go with it, I'll deal with it.
But these are facts.
Let me finish.
Okay,
the Iroject project. Did they finish any of the Aerojet projects? They didn't finish any of the Aerojet projects. Meanwhile, they said they started it. The Aerojet project was started by them. NPP came and finished them. You said, hold on. You said you did, hold on, my brother. Are you saying that no, mention one?
Okay,
are you saying no, the Aerojet
mention one? Because of time,
my brother. But you've not turned into a politician. No, you said you are a civil servant.
Don't worry about that. But just
I am worried because then you
don't worry about that
because you are cloaking.
Yes,
don't be cloaking.
Yeah, go on fast. Yeah.
Right, thank you so much. My name is Suleiman Ibrahim, the Chief Clerk for University of Ghana Parliament.
Okay.
I'm privileged to be here this morning. I'm actually enjoying the discussion.
Right.
Right. Mr. Blessed, I think this country, one of our problems is politicization of national issues. I was enjoying the conversation until politics set in. Right. Look, this matter shouldn't be a issue that we would talk and just leave it like that. I am urging the minister to bring out, a feasible policy and concrete policy that would actually make sure that the security of our health workers, is being taken care of, and then that of Mr. Kojo made mention of our nurses having a problem. This has been in the system for a very long time. What are we doing about it as a nation? It should always be that until nurses are attacked, they will come on national television and say blah, 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 nurses have problem. But then we are not providing a pragmatic solution to these issues. So until we provide a pragmatic solution to this issue, we will continue to lament and lament and lament. Okay. So therefore, I am urging, the minister to use this opportunity to self-reflect, find out the problems, propose a solution to these problems, and then bring out a concrete, a policy that would do what? That would cater for the security of our health, workers. Yeah. And then this concrete policy will go in a very long way to curb the little trust that has been broken between the Ministry of Health and that of the Health.
We'll come back to you shortly. Give the opportunity to the woman before I go to the gentleman, because we need to be inclusive as well. Yes, your point briefly, then we take your colleague and then...
Thank you very much. I am Lodi Efiama Kwamreku, Political Science Students Association, General Secretary-elect, and a member of University of Ghana Parliament. Okay, so what I have to say is that yes, there are processes in which when you go to the hospital, you have to follow. But whilst the processes go on, it shouldn't be an avenue for ignorance. Okay, so sometimes when you go to the hospital, with the way in which the nurses even act to you so rudely, sometimes they look so unperturbed. Someone is being rushed into the hospital, they sit there and they watch. Yeah. You can be sick, all right, and sometimes even the way they could talk to you so nicely could go a long way, and even for all you know, the sickness or whatsoever could reduce.
So and it's about how they treat the people.
Oh yes, very true. Because if I'm being pampered,
that experience?
Not me, but I had been to the hospital where somebody was needed assistance from the help and she was ignored. So she actually burst out, and it was very terrible. It was very bad to watch, like a hospital, I need help, you are not assisting me. Yeah. That is very bad. And regardless, the bad conditions at work, it shouldn't be at the expense of people's lives. Right. Yes, so in the end, the hospital should be safe for both patients and nurses whatsoever. Okay. Thank you.
Quite an insightful point there. Let's just move behind because there's a gentleman there also who has an interest in this
Thank you very much. My name is Herbert Apietu-Dankwa. I'm the Speaker of Parliament for University of Ghana Parliament.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. So, the conversation going on is really at heart, particularly to me. This is because most of the time, one way or the other, we've all been victims, if not personally, our families and our beloveds. But one particular question I keep on asking myself is, what are we doing about the character and attitudinal deficits that keeps on replicating itself in different contexts? Because it's very key, and it's at times annoying and disappointing to know some of the small character deficits that some of the nurses portrays. It's very difficult, particularly in emergent and urgent situations. They may be indifferent, as seem no one is even there to train them to work as they are expected to do. And it really go a long way to affect. They should know that the particular position they are put into, it is an emergency position. A single mistake can cause someone's life. And because of some mistakes and indifference and some nonchalant attitude, it has caused the death of a lot of people. This is not just a conversation about ministry. There should be regulatory policies in terms of conduct of some nurses. Notwithstanding, recently, a colleague of mine went to the hospital with an urgent situation. You know what happened? There were people there, but the moment they entered, they tipped one of the nurses. And you know what he did? The person stopped and attended to them. Who know the situation of the other ones? And this comes to state a particular gap within the characters that they dispose out there. So I would like to urge the ministry, they should bring in regulatory measures. It's high time that we start considering things from professionalism aspect and all these aspects taken into consideration.
Okay, let me just take some messages coming through. Richard Seriam Azamati says, good morning, Blessed. I think the Secretary of GRNMA has erred in his comments to the Honourable Minister. He must apologize and withdraw those words. That is a show of arrogance. This one says the truth of the matter is that nurses in this country have that feeling that they are always doing a favor to the patients by attending to us. They must be called to order. Bismarck says the lady nurse should go to an international court and seek justice. Abdul Ganyu is also here from Wale Wale. He says that the mess in our health sector, whom the attitude of some of the nurses and the politicians and PR of the union leaders is also sickening. He continues to say that let's commend the minister's swiftness in dealing with the issues because wrong is wrong, but the least said about the General Secretary of the GRNMA, the better. A lot of you are really coming hard at the GRNMA. Ivan, just do your take. Let me get online and take those online on the next issue.
Sure. I think the whole essence of this conversation must gear towards a particular resolution that will aimed at addressing the many challenges that we have. You see, the healthcare is such that one way or the other, everybody is a bit entangled because one way or the other, whichever way, you might become a patient at any point in time. So I think we should see...
But you see the comments, and so many people, I mean, almost everyone having issues.
Yes, but I think we should seize the bastardization and look at a common ground, how we can improve on quality care. Because, like I said, every one of us at any point in time may become a victim. And the sad aspect is you only become a victim in your lowest moment. And these are the people who will be taking care of you.
When you don't have the power
to do anything. You may be the richest person in Accra, but at that particular moment, you are in your lowest element. And that is when you go through some of these things. So this is an opportunity for us, just like my younger brother said, to reflect and see how we can improve on care. And the various stakeholders involved must engage and have this multi-stakeholder dialogue, how we can improve healthcare. Because the kind of public perception about nurses is some way. And I think it's quite unfortunate. And we must do everything to ensure that we improve healthcare. And the sad aspect of it is there is this angle that we should also look at. Very often, we spoke about allowances and stuff. I know doctors who are doing their housemanship. Some were posted somewhere last year, and they've been working for 1 year. Not even, they've not been paid a dime, but every day they're expected to go to work. You understand? So in this whole conversation, I think we need to look at all aspects and look at how we can improve, because they are also human beings. The nurses are not some isolated individuals who just join us in this country. They are part of our society. They are our brothers, our sisters, but the situations and the conditions some of the things that has necessitated some of these things. So I think the conversation should not be some sort of an adversarial conversation where we seek to impugn or denigrate them, but rather we must stifle a conversation that will seek to improve healthcare, because we are all stakeholders. One way or the other, you may become a patient, and I think that is what.
And I love what you say about the moment you need the nurses. That will be at your lowest point, so you may not even have the strength to talk or energy to talk.
Yes.
Let's go online. Shamima, I understand you just want to deal with something briefly in a minute, then we move to the presidential jet, because Nana Poku is being with us.
I'm happy we all agree that we are truly all involved in ensuring that we have a safe and sound health sector. It means the stakeholders within the health sector working together towards that goal. It means that an involved minister who moves away from his office goes around to ensure and to find out what is happening towards the intention of finding long-lasting solutions to our shared problems. It also means that, again, not playing unnecessary politics, but to also put the facts out. I think Kwadwo was a bit riled up this morning. The point I sought to make is that we cannot question the commitment of President Mahama to the health sector, because when he had an opportunity, he did a lot of things. These are not contested matters. And he started the presentation by saying, I said the 7 months. How can I say plausibly that 7 months we have had infrastructure more than the 8 year? The point is that, and the fact of the matter is that, in terms of health infrastructure, the Mahama administration, going back to the Mills administration, because the UJMC project started under President Mills. The Mahama administration started.
That's where he gets agitated when you're leaving out his administration.
But is that necessary though?
Blessing, yes, it is necessary.
In the conversation we're having, is that infrastructure conversation necessary?
Communicate. It is infrastructure problem and resourcing problem. Or you have not heard the nurses. You haven't heard the nurses who are home crying to be employed, and there's
so complete the agenda 111.
Infrastructure to be employed.
So complete the agenda 111.
Contest that.
Complete the agenda 111.
Complete. As of 2016, we had absorbed all backlog of nurses in the system. Kwadwo, why can't you tell us?
But so complete the agenda. So why not complete the agenda 111?
Yeah. Bottom line is that there is a government that is committed to our healthcare workers.
So let's move on.
That government will do all it can to ensure that we solve as many of the complex problems that the health sector faces. Because again, we will all be health seekers one day. And it is in our interest to ensure that they are well resourced, they are well motivated, and they are well sheltered